Hey there, welcome back to Oklahoma On Stage. We're glad to have you with us. If this is your first time, we'd also like to let you know that we are on Facebook and Instagram, and our website is oklahomaonstage.org. There you can find all of our past episodes, a newsletter which is coming soon, as well as a monthly calendar of events going on around the state. If you'd like to add an event, production, or audition to the calendar, just email us at oklahomaonstage@gmail.com. Also, send us any comments or questions to the same email or use the comment form on the website. Today, I get the opportunity to sit down with my friend Jonathan to kind of talk about where he came from, how he got his start in theater, and where he's going in where he thinks he's going in this wonderful world that we call theater. So, if you're ready, let's get going.
Oklahoma on stage, the stories come alive with drama, dance, and music. The arts always thrive. From center stage to backstage lore, Oklahoma on stage, there's always something more.
Welcome back, everybody, to Oklahoma On Stage, your go-to place for all things theater in the state of Oklahoma. I'm Tim, I'm your host, and today we are joined by a good friend of mine who we've worked together before, Jonathan Scheidegger. I had to ask him how to pronounce his last name, so I said it correctly. So, Jonathan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Tim.
So, as we said, this is Oklahoma theater across the board. We interview a little bit of everybody from beginners to pros to all different levels. And Jonathan has just recently returned to theater after a little bit of a break, as we all do from time to time. Life comes about and we take a little bit of a break. So he's joining us today. And so we're just going to dive into all of the things going on with Jonathan. So, Jonathan, what we're going to do first off, I just want to ask you your history with Oklahoma theater, where you came from, how you got into it, all that.
Okay. So really, I started with the Stage Door Theater in Yukon, Oklahoma, which sadly is no longer a theater company. But I started doing costume design and body paint design for Midsummer Night's Dream. I want to say back in 2009, 2010, somewhere around there, for Oberon and Puck. And the next show they did was In Good Spirits and Usher, a teen comedy, which was about Edgar Allan Poe's different plays or works, but it was done like a teen comedy. It was an interesting show. So I went and auditioned for those two, and I got Sal Salvatore as one of the ghosts in Good Spirits. I was a greaser-style ghost, from the 50s. Him and his prom date died when the mirror ball fell on their heads. So I had the greaser jacket, the slick-back hair, everything. It was pretty fun. Then after that, I didn't act for quite a while, actually. I don't think I acted again until I met my wife, Brittany Scheidegger. She brought me back into the Stage Door Theater. They had me do read for Ty in Sordid Lives. I forgot his last name, but the character Ty in Sordid Lives. So I did that like 2 weeks before show. The director called me up and said, "Hey, we don't have anybody. Can you do this? Give it a shot." So I did a couple shows for that. What else? I've done a lot of scare acting for the Sanctuary that used to be over by Frontier City. I did a lot of scare acting. I've been a demon, a ghost. They had a worldwide zombie apocalypse shooter come through, where it was a company that actually comes through different haunts or whatever, and they have laser guns and sensors that they put on other people, so you could actually have like an interactive zombie shoot throughout the haunted house. So I was one of the zombies that got to wear the sensors and stuff and come at people and go all crazy with them. It was pretty fun getting to do a Walking Dead, type thing. Jumping out of people and scaring the Jesus out of them. Then after that, I got introduced to storyteller theater. Brittany, brought me into storyteller theater with Brenna and Justice and them. I auditioned for B.B. Wolf for Fairy Tale Farms, and I landed the part of B.B. Wolf. And then after that, I was on hiatus again from work. I came back and did Decius Brutus, Julius Caesar. I was in there with you. And then I did BB Wolf again for Freytown Farms this last year. And now I'm looking forward to Treasure Island coming up and Alice in Wonderland and all sorts of stuff.
Excellent. So what inspired you to pursue theater?
Honestly, I think it's because I like doing different characters. I like doing different voices and things like that. When I was younger, I really, really enjoyed Halloween. And it wasn't just because, you get to be a scary monster, but you get to be someone different than who you normally are. And I think that's kind of what appealed to me was acting and getting to do these different roles and different personas and things like that. It's a real fun experience.
I think we all have a part of that that's inside of us, the ability to be somebody else. So can you share some memorable experiences that you've had along your journey in theater?
Man, memorable experience. I would have to say BB Wolf. I was very surprised and pleasantly surprised, mind you. Been on hiatus for so long, not doing acting, come back for the first time to ever do BB Wolf, and then get asked to. It was originally a dual cast role. It was me and Justice, and he had other stuff going on. And they finally just said, "Hey, you're doing amazing as BB Wolf. Can you just be BB Wolf for the whole thing?" Yeah, not a problem. So I thought that was really cool. Not having really this experience that I feel that I have really any experience. I still feel very tender-footed. In the acting field, greenhorn, if you will. And for someone to say, hey, that was awesome. Could you just do it? Stay this for the entire thing? It really warmed my heart up, made me feel good.
So let's talk just a minute. You talked about BB Wolf. For those who don't know, it's from an adaptation of some of the fairy tales that we all grow up with. And that's an adaptation of the character of the big bad wolf from Little Red Riding Hood, of course.
Yeah, and the Three Little Pigs.
Yeah. And the Three Little Pigs. Yeah, it was a double role there. So how did you bring about a fresh perspective to that role?
So, honestly, I got my inspiration from the old Looney Tunes cartoons, not commercials, cartoons. When you'd see Bugs Bunny dressed in looking like Jessica Rabbit outfit, the blonde hair, the red dress, and the big gazoomas, and he'd be singing or whatever, doing a thing, and you'd see the bad guy, the wolf or coyote or whatever, in a zoot suit, slamming the tail, big, or table, big eyes going out and everything like that. And it made me think, BB could be a wise guy. BB, if I go from big bad to just call me BB, it sounds kind of wise guy-ish to me, So I was like, okay, I'm gonna play around with that. And so I did, and that's why eventually BB became, just a little bit of a guy. I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. So that's what I really enjoyed, was kind of taking that and going, let's run with that and see where we go.
That's neat. So how did this production reimagine the stories that everybody's familiar with?
Oh man, in so many different ways. For instance, the Three Little Pigs. You go through it, we meet them, and of course they're saying I'm the big bad guy and everything, and you keep going on, and you find Rapunzel, and she's locked in her tower, and she sounds like she's a crazy person. And you meet all these different characters throughout in a different way than your normal way in the fairy tales. I want to say in the normal way. It sounds like the regular fairy tale. The Three Little Pigs are against the big bad wolf. Rapunzel's up in her tower. Candy Witch gets all of her candy eaten by the pigs and everything like that. So you think it's going to go the typical way until you get to the very end, and you come to find out BB Wolf didn't actually blow the houses down. He's the realtor. He was the realtor for the Three Little Pigs. And Rapunzel is in the tower to hide away for surprise Little Red. The whole thing, all the stories that came together, ended up being just a surprise party for Little Red Riding Hood. So it's got this nice little twist at the very end, and everyone's coming together, and these conceptions that you had at the beginning get flipped on their tails.
Interesting. Very interesting. Definitely a different take. So how did the audience react to this twist in the fairy tale? And more importantly, how did they react to you?
There was a lot of laughter. We got a lot of laughter in the show. We got a lot of the kids. I gotta say the kids were the best part because the kids really tested all of us as actors because they would be. It's an interactive, walkthrough type thing. So we had kids that would be like right up on us. There was one time we had a school field trip come through, and I actually during scenes as I'm trying to walk through them, I'd be like, "Excuse me, little snacks. Excuse me," get them out of the way. And the kids they hated Big Bad Wolf until the end, and then they're like, he's still a bad guy because he called us snacks. So it was a lot of joy and laughter really at the end, and it's one of my favorite shows to do. I would love to do it over and over and over again. Maybe as a different character just to kind of spice it up a bit. But if I'm always BB Wolf, then I will be happy being BB Wolf.
There you go. It's always good to have that. So, then going back to you, what are some of the biggest influences on your style that you have for acting?
Honestly, I'd have to say Alan Tudyk is one of them. Robin Williams. People that don't stick to the norm. They go, I'm going to be a bird. Boom, there we go. I'm a bird. I used to do like Robin Williams as the genie. I'd sit there and I'd do the fluctuations in my voice and do like the different things just to try to emulate what they're doing because they were having so much fun. Whenever you see like videos of watching them in the booths and stuff and they're getting into the character, they forget about everything else, it seems. And they just are absorbed into it and into that character and bringing that character to life and bringing the joy to the audiences through that. And seeing that there on them is the same type of joy I get when I see how happy an audience is.
That's very good. That's very good. So we talked a little bit about BB Wolf and Fairy Tale Farms. Mm-hmm. Probably your most other notable recent project is Julius Caesar.
Right.
It's a very powerful story. But what do you think was the most unique thing about this adaptation?
The time frame that we put it in. I love the fact that we didn't stab Julius, that we shot him. I thought it was great. It was a unique take on a classic. Sorry about that. I really enjoyed the fact that we had war era, propaganda and stuff going on through it. I thought it really filled in everything else for the entire play. The scenes with like Cato, for instance, I thought it was so much more impactful for me to step out after we shoot at each other and then to shoot him once in the back or whatever and he dies on stage rather than going up and shanking him or, he dying off stage where no audience members could see or anything like that. I thought it brought so much more, I don't know if I'm using this correctly, but we're going to try it, gravitas to the whole performance.
Okay. I like the interpretation. So what was your approach in playing Decius Brutus that you came to the table with?
My approach was kind of iffy at first, really. I started out kind of like everybody else, trying to just say the lines, maybe put a little inflection, but I'll be honest with it, bored with doing that. It didn't feel like there was a character there. It just felt like me saying the lines of somebody else. So I wanted to look more into who Decius Brutus was. So I did. I did research on YouTube and, online and everything like that. And was like, oh, okay. He was kind of a snake. He was a bit of a snake. He was kind of, So that's what I started thinking of. Okay, how would I play that? What's the best way to do that? I honestly don't know how I got to the southern accent that I used for Decius, but it worked. It made him sound, in my opinion at least, just worse for being a slime ball. Because, you'd hear him at first, and before you find out everything he's doing and any lines I had, I just sound like a good old country boy or something. And then at the very end, I'm just, oh, poor you, At the very end, after shooting one of the other cast members and dragging him off stage. So I thought it brought a bit more to the character, doing my research and then trying to figure out how am I going to feel that I'm actually playing Decius Brutus and not just Jonathan reciting lines of Decius Brutus.
So how do you, Jonathan, go about choosing the projects you work on?
honestly, anything that I would love to try a voice for that. I would love to see what what a pirate would sound like. Could I do a pirate? That's one of the things I'm looking forward to. It's one of the things I liked about scare acting is because I could right then and there try all sorts of different voices and sounds and things like that. We had a Mad Hatter for one of our scare haunts in February because we did like a Lover's Lane haunted house type thing, and I got to be the Mad Hatter carrying around a bloody machete, and I would chase Alice around, and then they'd come around the corner after hearing me whack the machete down on a wood or whatever, and there'd be a headless Alice. So, but I do a voice, I'm like, Alice, oh Alice, where are you? I have something for you. Getting to do stuff like that just makes me happy.
That's kind of what it's all about. So, thinking about Julius Caesar again, did you face any particular challenges bringing about a historical drama to life in front of a modern audience?
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Like I said, the first rehearsals and stuff, even getting close to show, it was still iffy. It's like, how is this going to be taken? It's a classic with a different spin on it. Now, I thought it was an awesome spin, but we don't know what was going to happen. And my worry is that something I was going to do was going to mess it up or not give it what it needed. Thankfully, it didn't appear to be the case. We had awesome, awesome shows.
It did go quite well. Definitely an enjoyable experience.
Oh,
so,
yeah. 10 would recommend.
Yes, very much. So, let's see. So, is there anything you're currently working on?
Not just yet. I am waiting for the new season for Storyteller, because I saw their post recently of all the shows that they're going to be doing for the 2025-2026 season, and I am super stoked to apply for that. They've got another one coming up for Treasure Island, and I can't wait to audition for that. I've been looking forward to that, see if I could get the role of one of the pirates or the pirate. So,
okay. So how do you see, looking from your perspective across the region where we're at, how do you see the theater scene evolving right now?
Honestly, it looks like it's expanding. It looks like now this could just be because I was on, I guess, like a cold spell hiatus, whatever, for so long until I did DC's Bruce and then BB Wolf again. But I just had this feeling, I guess, that it seemed very slow in the last year or two. Like, it didn't seem as much was being done with the community theaters. Like, they were still putting on putting on shows and whatnot, but it didn't seem like it was hitting as much of the public. Whereas now, I have this feeling like it seems like it's getting out to the public a lot more, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Yeah, I think after COVID, I think everything kind of has been struggling a bit.
Mm.
There were some theaters that still to this day haven't recovered yet. Some that have struggled to recover. Some have done fine. Some have done great, and they're still putting on. And for the most part, the theaters that are struggling, they're still putting on great performances, still putting on great art, and I think that's it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us that do this, we don't do it for the money.
Right.
We do it for the love of the art, and we do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
And
we enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of where we're at, and I think that's where we need to stay. I think that's where I'm at anyway. I know that. And it's kind of what I do, why I do this, why I do what I do, is to give something back. Mm-hmm. I've told people a lot that, in the 30 years that I've been involved with theater, theater's done so much for me. Everybody that I talk to agree theater is therapeutic. I mean, it helps us through a lot of things, but theater's done so much for me. This is a way for me to give something back. And so
it's an awesome way to do it.
Yeah, and I love it. This is definitely a labor of love. So talked about some of the performances and events that are coming up that you're excited to be involved with. Is there any place in any theater in particular outside of Storytellers, which obviously you're very attached there? You love it. I agree with you completely. Is there any place outside of Storytellers that you would like to work
Honestly, it just depends on the show. I've been trying to keep up to date with the Oklahoma on Stage posts and whatnot more to see what shows are coming if they're local enough to me. Because I don't, unfortunately, I can't drive out to like Stillwater or Shawnee, or, places like that necessarily, on a fairly regular basis for rehearsals and whatnot. So I try to keep it fairly local. But it really just depends. I know one of the shows I would love to do. I don't know if any theaters are currently doing. I don't think they are. But one of my bucket list shows is Dracula. Ever since I saw the original with Gary Oldman, that's been like one of my dream roles. I want to be Gary Oldman's Dracula.
I actually just missed that show earlier in the season. Jewelbox did it.
Jewelbox, yeah.
I actually missed it myself. So yeah, it's amazing how theater, especially community theater, goes in waves. With I don't know the storytellers is the catalyst for it or not, but with storytellers being primarily focused on the classics and bringing those classics into a modern world, you're seeing more classic literature and adaptation shows and things like that come about. So, and I'm not saying, hey, go out, stretch your people, but,
right.
See what's out there. So, okay, so talk about influences. So, are there any behind the scenes stories that you have that you could enlighten us with?
Behind the scenes stories.
Because that's usually where the
real meat potatoes. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where the real meat potatoes. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of it. I mean, I had something kind of funny happen to me during one of the shows while I was BB Wolf, but it wasn't really behind the scenes necessarily, but it was right during the performance. I was wearing fake teeth for BB Wolf. I have actual like fangs that I put in, talk through them and everything like that to really give them a wolfish look. And I was my entrance in one of the shows. I was jumping off this like boulder thing or whatever by the barn over on the Harn Homestead as one of my entrances, and when I jumped down, the tooth just popped right off of my tooth. It just got loose. And so I'm sitting there talking, and as I'm talking, the tooth just flung off of my tongue out into the grass. Nice. So I'm sitting there just having to go Snaggletooth Wolf, just trying to talk out of the one side so they can't really see it. And as we're going, they start to go, and I look, and thank God I found the tooth. It was just right there. Picked it up. I was like, achoo! I put it right back in my mouth.
Nice. Live theater. That's where it is. Let's see, what else do we have here? So what are some aspirations for the future? Any dream projects that you hope to bring to life?
I know one of the things that I would love to do is help my wife with her idea of doing adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. She kind of wants to do something kind of like what Storyteller does, not quite bring it into entirely the modern age, but fairly close. And her idea for it, it's unique, and I really want her to be able to do that and help her, see that dream come to life.
Excellent. I love to see the desire and the creativity, and I've had conversations with you guys. I know how creative you are, so I think it'll be great. So, where do you see Oklahoma theater growing in the next few years?
Really, I could see either theater companies increasing, like the amount of companies necessarily, or even the size of current companies, almost like joining together, creating one large company out of smaller ones and things like that. I can honestly see even some of the cast members and things of all the different community theaters, because there's been so many great ones, great actors in all the different theater companies. But I could see even probably moving on to doing things like Prairie Surf when they start, getting back up and running.
Yeah, definitely. Prairie Surf definitely a great added addition to the Oklahoma scene, and love to see more productions coming out of them. I hated to see them get booted out of their facility, but hopefully where they're landing now is going to help them out. So what advice would you give to an aspiring theatrical artist just starting out here in Oklahoma?
I would say go for it. Don't let your doubts and your worries and your concerns prevent you from doing something that you even have the slightest inkling of wanting to do. And I'm speaking from experience on that. You and I even had talks while I was doing DCS Brutus. I'm afraid I'm not going to remember my lines because I have some memory issues. But for some reason, lines stick in my head like cement once I start getting them. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Just go for it. If you're happy, do it.
It's good. That's some good advice. And yeah, sometimes actors, when they're starting out, they have the same issues that you're talking about. That probably one of the biggest fears is forgetting your lines. And so we have to learn, play the old, even as a child, word association games, and what can I attach this line to? And I've worked with several different actors that they'll say a line and they'll come up with some weird off the wall thing on how to relate that line to something that they already know, and so it kind of helps them to, okay, so this, I can say this, okay, that helps me remember that. So whatever works, that's the one thing that we try to tell people all the time. Whatever works for you,
yeah,
may not work for somebody else, but whatever works for you, use it. And definitely don't be afraid. The fear is what holds so many of us back, but at the same time, once we let that fear go, that's where the characters come from. And you have to understand, you don't have to be embarrassed or anything like that, because it's not you they're looking at.
No, it's the character.
That's somebody else.
Yeah.
So we have to keep that in mind. So, okay, I have real quick. I said I would have come up with
a curveball.
Curveball. Yep. So we're gonna go. I've got a couple here that I want to throw out to you. So
all right, we'll see if I can hit them.
Shouldn't be too bad. So, if the one I wanted to ask isn't on this sheet, but I'll actually try to see if I can ask it anyway.
Okay.
If you were able to be in a play or a production with any one person, living or dead, one celebrity on stage, who would it be and why?
Oh man. Oh, that's a hard one.
Hence, curveball.
Man, that's hard because I've got two top three ones that are almost tied, and that's Alan Tudyk, Robin Williams, and Jack Black.
Okay.
So it's hard to really decide. Honestly, I'd have to say Robin Williams. One, just because I would love to see that man alive again.
Yeah. Well, who would? Yeah.
that alone would just bring joy to my heart.
Sure.
Seeing him standing there. But just to be able to ask him questions, hey, how do you get into this character mindset? And then just to really feed off of him. Getting to be in a play with him, you automatically would have to feed off of that energy. So I think it would just be stupendous to work with him in a play.
Yeah.
And just that energy out there.
There's several interviews out there, people that have been in movies and things with him that have just said that it's either one of two ways. It's either remarkably easy to work with him, or it's so difficult to work with him and try to maintain some form of professionalism.
Right, because he's always off the wall.
And everything he does will break you. There's actually a video I was just watching earlier, I think it was earlier today, and just talking about he broke everybody in the cast. Just being himself.
Just being himself. Oh, yeah.
But again, at the same time, he didn't really know how to be himself. Everything that he did was all part of him. And so, but it was so out there. So, okay. So I'm going to give you what we call a rapid fire round.
Oh,
okay. So just the first thing that comes into your brain when we do this. So I'm going to ask you a question. First thing that pops off to your head.
All right.
Your favorite playwright?
William Shakespeare.
Okay. Musical or straight play?
Musical.
Okay. Your favorite opening night ritual?
I don't have one.
Okay. You need to fix that. But if it's working, don't mess with it.
I've never
That's what
had
they always say.
ritual.
Okay. Most challenging role you've ever played?
Decius Brutus.
Okay.
First time doing Shakespeare.
If you could sum up all of your acting experience and experiences in one word, what would it be?
Interesting.
As it should be. That's the way it should be. So, all right. Well, that's all the questions I've got. Anything from you?
I think my mind's blank now. that rapid fire done
it'll tend to do it when I catch people off guard like that. They pretty much don't have anything else after that. So, okay. So, any last parting words of wisdom for anybody that's out there listening?
There is already enough drama in life and on stage for you as an actor to bring it to any production.
There you go. All right, Jonathan, thank you for being a part of this. We really appreciate it. For everybody else listening at home, we appreciate you being with us. We appreciate your time. And most of all, we appreciate you supporting the arts.
Oklahoma on stage.